Ms. Caitlin Vega, please.
Mr. Chair and members, I want to begin just by thanking you for having this hearing. This is such an important worker issue, and I think it really got the serious attention that it deserved today. So we appreciate that on behalf of the California Labor Federation. I want to speak also just as someone from an agricultural community. My mother-in-law has been a farm worker for 30 years, which means 10-hour days, 6 days a week, exposed to whatever chemicals are being used. These days, there are many more women working in the fields than when she started doing it, and she was often one of just a small group. And so I think that the risks to women, many farm worker women have to work in the fields throughout their entire pregnancy. So there's tremendous risk to the fetuses and risk of miscarriage. In the community that I live in, there is an extremely high cancer rate. It's really, I think, people who don't either live in an agricultural community or aren't part of a farm worker community can't even begin to understand how common it is and how many funerals farm workers go to for one another. There is such a high cancer rate. And I think that makes this whole, I think that makes the context for this issue really critical, that we kind of slow down and look at the tremendous risks farm workers already face and whether this is the right population to kind of experiment with a new one on. I would just also add that, you know, I think this committee has looked in the past at issues around farm workers trying to organize and trying to improve their conditions and the types of intimidation that they so often face, and that this is an area where there is very little enforcement, where many workers are afraid to speak out on behalf of their rights, and workers are, especially in this economy, very scared about losing their jobs. I think that makes your role and the role of state regulators particularly important. And so we would associate ourselves with the comments of CRLA and really suggest that this committee play a role in preventing farm workers from facing an additional risk by exposure to these chemicals. Thank you.
Thank you.